All right, so today we're going deep on AI.
Deep.
Yeah, but not just like the nuts and bolts.
Okay.
We're talking about how AI is like all tangled up in things like
Yeah.
elections, animal rights, even like what the government's keeping secret.
It really is fascinating. We're at this point now where AI is making decisions that are impacting our lives in really big ways.
Yeah, and to kind of get to the bottom of all of this, we've got a whole stack of sources.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pulling from news articles and even some pretty heated debates happening on formerly Twitter.
It's a really interesting mix. We can kind of see what the experts are saying, but also, just the everyday person's take on things.
Exactly. Okay, so first up, AI and elections.
Okay.
Have you ever gotten the feeling like a campaign knows you
Oh, yeah,
a little too well?
for sure.
Like they're reading your mind?
Well, it's not mind reading, but it might be the next best thing. AI can sift through mountains of data like voter records, your social media, even things like your age and where you live to try to predict how you'll vote.
Wow.
And then campaigns use that to target you with specific messages.
That's both impressive and a little creepy
Right.
at the same time.
Yeah. And, this is actually a huge topic on X right now, especially in Pennsylvania.
Oh, really?
It's a swing state.
Right.
People are really worried about AI manipulating voters there.
I can see why, especially with the deep fakes and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I know they even mentioned on that AI Debates podcast that AI is being used to create those super realistic fake videos. It's getting harder and harder to even know what's real.
Yeah, it definitely raises some red flags about whether this level of targeting is messing with free will.
And what if that data that the AI is learning from is already biased?
Right.
Could that skew the election results?
For sure.
It just feels like we're walking into uncharted territory.
And that takes us right to our next point, AI transparency. Okay, even Elon Musk is jumping into this debate.
What's he saying?
He's saying any government data that's used to build AI should be public. Like, by default, his argument is, how can we trust AI if we don't know what it's learned from?
That makes sense to me.
Right. Imagine if you could see exactly how an AI system that's used in court was trained.
Like how it was built.
Yeah, you might uncover biases.
Oh, wow.
You never even knew existed.
That's a powerful thought. But isn't there another side to this?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, some data has to be kept secret, right?
Absolutely.
Like personal information stuff about national security.
Right, and that's the debate that's raging right now.
Yeah.
How do we balance transparency with keeping things safe?
Right.
Is everything open, or are there levels of access? It's a tough one.
Okay, now for a curveball,
Okay.
AI and animal rights. This one might surprise you.
You're telling me that AI Debates podcast talked about this story of a squirrel named Peanut
Oh, yeah.
that blew up on Exik?
Peanut sparked this whole discussion about AI making decisions
Right.
that affect animals.
Right.
It's not something most people think about.
It's true.
But AI is already used in wildlife tracking.
Oh, yeah. And it can even be used to decide things like if an animal should be relocated or, well, this is where it gets tough.
Yeah.
Even euthanized.
That's heavy stuff.
The Peanut case specifically got people fired up because the AI was deciding if the squirrel was too socialized.
Too socialized to be released back into the wild.
Yeah, people were furious.
I can see why it brings up so many questions.
Right.
Do we trust AI to make life or death calls about animals? And shouldn't there be special ethical rules for AI that deals with living creatures?
It's uncharted territory.
Yeah.
And people are starting to realize they have a voice in this. Public opinion can actually make a difference here.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really fascinating how these conversations about AI and animals are bubbling up like this. It shows that people are really starting to think about AI's impact in a much broader sense. Like, it's not just about
robots taking over
the world, right? It's about the ethical implications of these technologies in like every corner of our lives.
It's true. We often talk about AI in this abstract, futuristic way.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's already here,
right,
making decisions that affect us, our elections, and even the animals we share the planet with.
And, one of the biggest concerns that keeps coming up, whether we're talking about elections or animal rights, is this issue of bias.
Right. We touched on that earlier.
Yeah.
It's this idea that AI can, inherit our own biases, which doesn't sound good.
No.
Could you unpack that a little more?
Right.
Like, how do those biases actually sneak into the system?
So think of it this way. AI learns from the data it's fed.
Okay.
So if that data reflects existing biases in society, let's
Yeah.
say gender or racial biases,
Mm-hmm.
the AI is likely to perpetuate those biases in its decisions.
So it's not that AI is intentionally biased.
Right, yeah.
It's more like it's picking up on existing biases from the information it's given.
Exactly. And, you know, these biases can creep into AI systems used in all sorts of areas, healthcare, the justice system.
Wow.
Loan applications, basically anywhere AI is making decisions that affect people's lives.
That's unsettling. So if an AI is used to, say, help decide who gets a loan, and it was trained on data that historically favored certain groups over others, it might continue to make those same biased decisions, even if no one is consciously programming it that way.
Precisely, and that's why this call for transparency in AI development is so important. If we can't see the data these systems are trained on, how can we identify and fix these potential biases?
It feels like a bit of a black box.
Right.
You put data in, you get decisions out.
Yeah.
But you don't always know what's happening in between.
That's a great analogy, and that AI Debates podcast was really pushing for this idea of open source AI. They argue that, especially when it comes to government or public services, we have a right to know how these systems are being trained.
It's like saying, if you're going to make decisions that affect me, I deserve to understand how you're reaching those conclusions.
It's about accountability.
Yeah.
We need to be able to hold these systems and the people who create them accountable for their decisions if AI is going to decide who gets access to social services or who gets approved for a loan. Shouldn't we be able to understand how those decisions are being made?
Yeah.
And make sure they're fair?
But we talked earlier about the fact that not all data can be public.
Right.
Some information has to be kept private.
Of course.
Like for security reasons.
Absolutely. And that's where this idea of layered transparency comes in.
Okay.
Maybe some data sets can be made public while others need stricter access controls.
Oh. So it's not just about making everything public.
Right.
It's about finding the right balance between transparency and protection.
Right. And maybe that involves creating independent auditing mechanisms.
Okay.
Think of it as a way to have experts double check these AI systems, making sure they're being developed and used ethically, even if the data itself can't be fully disclosed.
Okay, so we're talking about regulating AI.
Yeah.
What would that actually look like in practice?
Well, it's a tricky question because AI is such a rapidly evolving field.
Right.
Any regulations would need to be flexible and adaptable.
Okay.
But some key areas to focus on could be data governance, algorithmic accountability, and impact assessment.
Okay, let's break those down.
Sure.
What would data governance involve?
So data governance is about ensuring that the data used to train AI is high quality, representative, and free from those biases we were talking about.
Right.
It would also mean having clear rules around data privacy and security. Who can access the data, how it's stored, and how long it's kept.
And what about algorithmic accountability?
So that means making sure that the decision-making processes of AI systems are transparent and explainable.
Okay.
If an AI makes a decision that impacts someone's life, they should be able to understand why that decision was made and what factors were considered.
So let's say someone's denied a job or a loan based on an AI assessment.
Right.
Algorithmic accountability would mean they have the right to know how the AI came to that conclusion.
Exactly. And it's not just about protecting individuals. It's about building societal trust. If people don't understand how AI is making decisions, they're less likely to trust or accept those systems.
Which could hold back all the potential good AI could do.
Exactly.
And what was that last one?
Impact assessment.
Right, impact assessment.
Right. So before deploying an AI, especially one that will have a big impact on people, it's important to assess the potential risks and benefits.
Okay.
This could mean identifying potential biases, checking for accuracy and fairness.
Okay.
And considering how the AI might affect society and the economy.
So it's kind of like trying to predict the consequences before the AI is actually released into the wild?
Exactly. It's about being proactive, not reactive.
Yeah.
And ensuring that AI development is guided by ethical principles and a concern for the well-being of everyone.
This all makes sense, but honestly, it seems like a huge challenge.
Oh, yeah.
To actually implement these kinds of regulations.
For sure.
The tech industry often resists government intervention, and AI is developing so fast.
Right.
Is it even possible to keep up?
You're right. It's a difficult task, but I think it's a conversation we can't afford to ignore.
Yeah.
The potential risks of unchecked AI are just too high. We need to find ways to work together, governments, industry leaders, researchers, and the public, to ensure that AI benefits all of us.
It feels like we're at this crossroads with AI.
Yeah.
On the one hand, we have this incredible technology with so much potential to do good.
Right.
But on the other, there are all these concerns about bias.
Yeah.
Privacy.
For sure.
Even AI making like life or death decisions.
And one of the most interesting aspects of all this is how AI is changing. The way we even talk about these issues.
Oh, wow.
We're using AI to debate the future of AI.
It's like AI is shaping the conversation about itself.
Exactly. Think about it. AI is already curating our news feeds, filtering our search results, even suggesting replies to our emails.
Oh, wow.
It's changing how information flows, and in a way, it's shaping public discourse.
So AI could help us sort through like the overwhelming amount of information out there.
Yeah.
But it could also create those echo chambers.
Right.
Where we're only exposed to information that just reinforces what we already believe.
It's a double-edged sword, for sure.
Yeah.
AI can connect us and help us learn, but it can also be used to manipulate and divide us.
And we're seeing this play out in real time on platforms like X.
Yeah.
That AI Debates podcast mentioned how X is becoming this battleground for opinions about AI.
It's fascinating to see the range of opinions and concerns that people are expressing. Some are so excited about AI's potential to solve these big problems, while others are really worried about its impact on privacy, equality, even humanity's future.
It seems like there's no easy consensus.
No.
But the fact that these conversations are happening at all is a good thing, right?
Absolutely. It means people are engaging with the ethical and societal implications of AI.
Right.
And that's the first step towards shaping a future where AI is used responsibly.
Okay, so if we want to like steer AI in the right direction, where do we even start? It feels like such a massive, complex issue.
One of the biggest challenges is ensuring that AI promotes informed debate.
Okay.
And helps us make good decisions, in a world full of misinformation.
Right.
Deepfakes.
Yeah.
It's getting harder and harder to tell what's true.
And AI could make that problem even worse, right? If we're constantly being fed personalized content that just confirms our existing biases, it could lead to a really divided society.
It's a valid concern, but AI can also be part of the solution.
Okay.
We could use AI-powered fact-checking tools, content moderation systems to help filter out false or misleading information.
So it's almost like we're in this race against ourselves.
Right.
Using AI to both spread and combat misinformation.
In a way, yeah. And the outcome of that race depends on the choices we make now.
Okay.
The ethical rules we create, the regulations we put in place, and the values we teach the next generation of AI developers.
It's a lot of responsibility, but honestly, hearing you talk about it, I'm starting to feel this sense of hope. The fact that people are demanding transparency and accountability from the companies and governments that are developing AI, that gives me reason to believe we can create a future where AI is a force for good.
I agree. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's being shaped right now by the choices we make, the conversations we have, and the actions we take.
So to everyone listening out there, don't just sit back and watch this technological revolution unfold.
Right.
Engage with these issues, ask the tough questions, and make your voices heard. The future of AI is in our hands.
AI is a tool. It can be used to build an amazing future, but it could also make existing problems even worse. The choice is ours.
That's a powerful message to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of AI. I hope it's given you some food for thought.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and let's work together to build an AI-powered future that benefits everyone.